Hello everybody, Artistic Flair here, this time with an Optimus Prime Generation 1 time-lapse video. Now, I apologize for the video just starting off with everything already kind of drawn out. I don't know what happened with the main camera that I have overhead. It just didn't record, but the camera that I have on my head actually recorded. I just didn't use that one since everything started moving way too fast. I wanted you guys to not get dizzy during this video. Anyways, I'm starting off with drawing out the guidelines so I can get an idea. And if you guys could see in the background over there, I have a detailed version of Optimus on the right, and on the left I have what I call the Roblox Optimus Prime, just so I can get an idea of the rectangles and squares and triangles and like hexagons, which you see a lot of the shapes happening in the eyes. Well, he has an oval on his head too, but there are triangles, and you're going to see in the chest piece we're going to include two squares or two rectangles, whichever way you want to say it as. Squares or rectangles, to me looks like two squares. Now this is an odd angle that I'm working with, so I gotta make him not look too flat. So you want to make sure the edge piece is kind of sticking out, and yes, the clip just got cut off. Again, I lost that footage from the main camera. But anyways, I added in the glass for the windshield, and that is again another square, but at the edges it's kind of like a hexagon because you got like that little curve. So just think about that. And then we got like the arms, top part of the arms, the shoulders, the mufflers added in, and I'm not finishing the other side yet because I want to get most of the body in first before I start working on another piece, because I'm trying to go by what I see in the image to get like the angles right. Now as you can see, I'm working on the grill right now. Now the grill has 10 lines, so I'm just guiding myself with the main image, main detailed image that I have above. That way I'm calculating just how much space that I have for the image, so he doesn't look like he's going off the page like I did in the main one. Now working on the other muffler, I had to draw a line going across from the first muffler over across to his head so I can make sure it's proportionate. And because like I said, this angle is kind of odd, one side of his body would look slightly smaller, the left side would look smaller than the right side, but it's not, it's actually just the angle you're viewing him from. And completing the rest of his body, his arms, adding in some extra details because there are a lot of details in the Optimus Prime. This one was a little bit complicated to do, especially with those amazing hands, because I just love drawing hands, so I'm just adding a little guidelines and just finishing off the rest of his body for a little bit, because I am guiding myself with what I'm looking at the image, so I would know when to add in the arm. Now before I can add in the hand, I need to add in his leg because there's a trapezoidal odd square before we add in his hand. So I need to add that in first before I add in his hand. So adding in his hand, adding in the rest of the detail in the arm. This draw actually took me 3 hours and 30 minutes to complete. I'm just making sure the image looks straight enough, because to me it was looking like it was kind of off, it looked kind of crooked to me. So I was just making sure everything looked nice and proportionate, straight. Now I'm drawing in the other hand. Of course, this is in another perspective, so where I have just the knuckle part showing on one hand, I have to draw in where the fingers, where you can actually see the fingers on the other hand. It does take me a little bit of time since hands are my favorite thing to draw, and hands are one of the easiest things. Not really, but Eventually I do get to draw the hands as I like it, and retouching up on the mufflers, because whenever I look at an image over time, I try to make sure everything is proportionate. If it's not right the first time, I leave it, and then when I'm ready, I'll go back to it. Now, I had to get the symbol for the Autobots on my phone just so I can make sure I was drawing it right, because I couldn't remember it. Now, that's the guidelines for the legs. They look kind of odd right now. Okay, now I'm just adding in that trapezoid with the little triangles on the side. This is his left leg, which is facing, well, it'd be facing us. So it's looking forward. But it's kind of slightly angled where you can see the side of the foot. Of course, it is still rectangles and trapezoids and squares, you know, adding in a couple of lines too, because it's the details that really make the Optimus G1, especially all the G1 characters, pop. Now the other leg, this one's going to be slightly facing 45 degrees to the right, so we need to incorporate the shift in degree for the leg. Now, of course, that is adding in the trapezoids with the little triangles, but this time, since the leg is slightly further away, we'll have to kind of shrink the leg a little bit. Of course, adding in the rest of the details, you know. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with how Optimus turned out. Then I'm going to be inking Optimus. This way when I add in the colors, he'll pop a little bit more. Now my head's kind of in the way, I'm sorry about that. Just when I'm trying to get the little tiny pieces in a drawing, I need to make sure that I'm not accidentally missing it, because that happens sometimes. My hands were shaking because I was trying to make sure the lines were extra straight. So that's also another reason why I'm like looking really close at the image. Anyways, of course, just continuing off with the inking. And then after I'm done with the inking, I'm just gonna erase it, but I'll cut that out and just go off to the coloring. So by this point, I'm just gonna let the video play on through. I am lightly adding in the blue color because Optimus has a lot of highlights and darker shadows on his character, so the lighter that I color in with the colors, I can add in the white a little bit more to add in that little highlight piece. And then after I get the little highlight piece, I'll color it a little bit more darker just so we can get that color popping, and then add in a little bit of black in the shadow areas just so we can get that difference in the colors. And of course, I am using the Prismacolors, as you may have seen in one of my past videos. And this drawing will need a lot of white because it is a lot of highlights that are used, especially with the mufflers. And of course, I start off with coloring lightly so that I can add in the darker colors. And I found that out during one of my short videos that I could do that. And yeah, this was a very fun draw to do. When I first started looking for Optimus, I was like, oh my goodness, I think I want to draw a Optimus for a speed art possibly. I've been thinking about it, and I was gonna do like this whole because I have mostly 80s characters right now for the speed art videos. It was a plan to draw him after the Voltron characters. I had planned to draw Voltron, but never got to draw them out. Then I also got requested to draw Thundercracker, Optimus, or Megatron, and I was like, hey, this is the opportunity to draw Optimus and Megatron, because I did think about making them for a video. I also have that Thundercracker video. I'll add in the card if you guys like to check that out right here. And of course, I do like how the Prismacolors look, and it was the Goku video that I used the Prismacolors. And that's when I found out that if I draw lightly, I can use the white to add in highlights, using black to add in shadows. And that's what I used here. Although the colors may look a little bit off on the red right now, and it doesn't look like that. And if you guys were to see the image in person, it doesn't look like that. It's the lighting. For some reason, the lighting did not like to show up too nicely. But at the end, I'll add in a nicer image and you guys could see the colors a little bit more better. Now, the one thing I did find out was I think I kept blending the colors too much onto the lines, and it did hide the inked lines. So later on, off camera, after I realized how much of the details got lost, I had to go in with like a brush, like a brush inking pen, to re-add those details in, because I could not fix them with a normal inking pen, because for some reason kept losing ink on the color pencils, because it kept kind of blocking the ink out. And of course, the blues, I kind of like how the blues blend out in the colors. The red one was a new one to blend out, and I do like how the red looked. Now the blending is really, really nice on the Prismacolors, as I mentioned in another video. So yeah, that's what I did for Optimus. I practiced him at first because I knew that he was going to be a little bit of a challenge for me to draw, especially like on camera, because he's got extra details, and I'm not used to adding in specific shapes, because that's what most of these drawings have, specific shapes. And these specific shapes, even though they're simple, they become difficult to work with. Thanks again for checking out today's video, and if this video entertained or taught you something new, let me know by giving this video a like. It also lets me know you like content like this. And since my recording schedule is kind of off, if you like to get notified, you guys could hit that subscribe button, that way you won't miss the next video. As always, stay creative! Bye!